everyone, it's Sharona from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing Euphoria, the pilot episode. A lot of you have been commenting in this comment section of my videos that I should be watching Euphoria. When am I going to do my recaps? Well, I decided to make myself some pancakes this morning. I woke up early and I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and watch the first 2 episodes of Euphoria. And I have to say, I liked what I saw so much that I'm going to be recapping the episodes for the rest of the season. So before I get into my thoughts on the first episode, I do want to thank those of you who have donated to my GoFundMe. I really appreciate it. For those of you who shared the links, I see it, who have donated. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm trying to raise this last bit of money to try to work out like travel arrangements to get there and to stay there for Comic-Con. So thank you so much. And for those of you who still want to help or want to just share the link, I'll have it in the description section below. But let's talk Euphoria. So we introduced to our narrator of this series, which is going to be Rue, who is portrayed by Zendaya. You know, y'all, Rue been going through a lot. So we go through when she's a baby in the womb, kind of the imagery that they use for that, and even going through her childhood into like her young adulthood before we get to the high school version of her. We see that Rue has been battling a lot of symptoms, and crazy in this one scene that she has as the parents have taken her to the doctor because they don't understand what is wrong. The doctor is just like, she has ADHD, anxiety, like general anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, compulsive disorder. I said, girl. And she was like, we don't know. She's just too young. Ma'am, you didn't list every disorder in the book. Is that what she really has? Or is this what you're just guessing because you're not putting that much effort into it? But we see when they're showing like people who have bipolar disorder, when her mom was like, you know, who else has had this? And she was talking about like, you know, Picasso, Van Gogh, and then when they show Sylvia Plath, like showing how all these like different people in history who have touched like, you know, our society in different ways through, you know, literature, like Sylvia Plath, man, let me get my life together, or, you know, through arts. But then they're showing how they all have these tragic ends, you know, some may say due to their disorders. We never know. But basically, when they show Brittany at the end, I was like, y'all know y'all hella disrespectful for showing Brittany like that with her breakdown. But I like how she does show, you know, the reality that a lot of famous people, they suffer from these same disorders as well. So that doesn't mean that your life has to be over or that you have to feel as though that you can't achieve what you want to achieve. But clearly, Rue doesn't see it that way. She's just like, yeah, I can't go with these examples that you basically have given me. So I like how we see as Rue is kind of getting ready. She's waking up, getting ready for school, and she walks into the kitchen, and her mom is arguing with the insurance company about like what they cover, what they used to cover, but they're not covering now. Really showing like the crazy healthcare system. Because if I could do a whole video on stuff that you guys should like know before you go to the doctor's office, special codes that you're supposed to use to make sure this stuff is free. But that's a whole nother little side note. But I do like how they incorporate kind of the realities of like things that people are dealing with, that parents are dealing with, that teenagers are dealing with, that, you know, young children are dealing with, you know, throughout this episode. And so I'm wondering, because we see like her dad in the beginning of the episode when they like are showing the parents when they take her to see the psychiatrist or whatnot, but I noticed that he's missing, and we see that she kind of picks up the picture of her parents like being married. So just like, did he leave? Did something happen to him? Like, what is going on? And we find out towards the end of the episode, but I'll get into that a little bit later. And so we see that we meet her sister Gia, played by Storm Reed, who looks exactly like her. I was like, this is perfect casting because like they totally look like sisters. But she quickly goes into talking about her addiction and what it feels like, and the way that they kind of illustrate that, but also too how she says that she's always trying to crave that 2 seconds of nothingness that she originally felt when she first became high. I just thought it was so powerful how, you know, we see a lot of people when we talk about addiction, we never really talk about the why behind it or necessarily what it feels like to them. And because she talks about how the world is moving so fast and how her brain is processing things so slow, and that sometimes it gives her anxiety, to the point where we saw her have an anxiety attack in the classroom. And then when she's passed out and the little kids are like, well, she's hyperventilating, and the kids have their phones out, like nobody's trying to help. Only the teacher trying to help. Everyone has their phones out, which is so indicative to where we are in society, where, you know, everything has to be captured. Like, we can't live in a moment. We can't stop to go help our classmate who's obviously having a panic attack because we have to record what happened, because if we didn't record it, it never happened and nobody will basically believe us. But what I do have to do is I have to give a shout out real quick, because when they like go into the title sequence, where they start playing this music, and it was this song called Can't Get Used to Losing You by Andy Williams, which transforms into Hold Up from Beyonce. But I was like, I didn't realize that that's where she sampled the song from. But if you listen to like what that song is about, how they can't like get over this person, and to go into Hold Up, how they both have similarities with one another, I thought that was just really cool. That's maybe just me geeking out like musically about it, but I thought that was cool how they mix the original to Beyonce's. Okay, I'm gonna stop. So we see that Rue has been in rehab for the summer. So this is the summer going into her junior year. She has spent the summer in rehab because she has actually overdosed. And so we see she's going through the motions of rehab. We see that they have the kids basically in there going through this, I guess, seminar where they walk up to this casket. They look in the casket, and it's literally their reflection staring back at themselves to show, like, if you don't stop what you're doing, like, this is going to be you. Like, you're going to be dead in a casket, and there's nothing that you're going to be able to do about it. And I find it interesting when they're doing the Serenity Prayer, and everyone's like saying it, and then Rue is like the only one that's just sitting there like, I'm not saying this ish. And it's indicative to her knowing that as soon as she gets out of rehab, like, she has no intention on being clean. Like, she's never rehabbed to try to stop. I think her mother probably put her in rehab after she OD'd, but it was just never a thought in her mind that she was actually doing this to like start a new chapter. As her mom said, that when she got her out of rehab, she knew that she was going to go right back to using as soon as she got out. So I thought it's interesting how you see her not talk about it. She gets her coin. She's not excited like everyone else. She's kind of faking a smile like, yeah, yay. Like, I got my coin. It's over. Yay. But I find that interesting. But we see that she meets up with her friend Fesco after she gets out. And then he asks her, like, how you been doing? She was like, ever since I found my Lord and Savior, everything's going good. And he was just like, oh, okay, cool. And she was like, boy, I'm playing. He's like, shoot, I don't know. You just got out of rehab. I don't know how you're supposed to be reacting at this point. But he tells her that he saw this girl who looks like Sailor Moon, who he's talking about Jules, but he really wasn't wrong with the Sailor Moon like comparison. I was like, yeah, that's definitely Sailor Moonish to me. And Sailor Moon is a good show, so if you guys haven't watched it, you need to go back and relive your childhood because you was doing it wrong. But we see that she first sees Jules as she's driving by, like her mom is driving by in the car, and we see that she sees her and she has like an interest towards her. Her interest is piqued, but he says like, hey, it looks like you guys would probably be really friends, and she kind of alludes that they actually do end up becoming friends, which we don't see until later in the episode. But I need somebody to help me understand why Fesco's little brother is like a drug dealer. So Fesco's little brother, I'm assuming that's his little brother, Ashtray, who got tattoos and stuff on his face. I was just like, are you in school? Like, what do you do all day? You just sell drugs all day? Where are your parents? I'm trying to figure these things out because I just don't understand. But he's in up here telling her all these drugs, like, you can do this, do that. I was just like, child, I don't even understand. And then he's explaining, like, you can just do this if you're trying to feel this or feel that. I was just like, I'm just still really like struggling over this little boy talking about he's selling drugs to pay his damn mortgage. How old are you? Like 7? Maybe 8? What mortgage you gotta pay? So we see that she gets the drugs, and then she basically tells him that Fez is gonna spot her. And he's like, Beach, I know you lying. I was like, girl, why you playing your friend like that? So she comes home, she's late and high. Her mama pissed. She was waiting. You know you in trouble when your mama sitting up here waiting. I was waiting for you at the door. So she sit up there waiting on her like, excuse me, ma'am, where you been? It's late. You ain't called nobody. You ain't texting nobody. What have you been doing? I know you've been doing drugs. I mean, kind of like, you have to understand, like, she just picked her child up from rehab after her having an overdose in which her sister found her in, which we kind of see after they have this like conversation. So she basically tell her like, you know what, I'm gonna drug test you. And then Ruth started screaming and slamming doors. I said, girl, we slamming doors up in this house? Like, oh, your mama must be cool. But then her mom was like, don't be slamming no doors in my house. And I was like, okay, girl, cool. Because I didn't understand for a moment. I thought you was letting that stuff go down in your house like that. So Then she goes into like, hey, like, this is what you need to do if you're gonna pass a drug test. Then she's like, don't do drugs. And I was like, well, duh. But she goes into like the different things that you could do, you know, buying online pee tests, or how even if you have somebody pee for you, that there's like heat sensors now in the drug test. I was like, girl, you putting me up on all these things? I don't know about none of this stuff. So she runs to go find her friend Lexi, who is actually, she's Judd Apatow's, how do I say his name? But you remember Knocked Up? And she was one of the little kids of Catherine Heigl's like friend, who is actually like their mother in real life. And like, I was like, oh my God, that's her. Like, she's so big now. But she got to her friend Lexi's house. Clearly, she's like, hey, girl, I need you to pee for me because this is what I'm going through. She's trying to drug test me. So she talks about how they were friends in preschool and how they kind of drifted apart. I don't know if that's because of her drug use or they just, you know, you grow up and you just have different friends. You have different interests. I don't know. But what I do know, something wrong with their mama. I don't know if their mama alcoholic, if she on drugs too. I don't know what was going on, but something just didn't seem right by her mama. But her friend went and peed and did what she had to do. She ran back home. She didn't tie the damn bottle to her thigh so she could pee in front of her mama. She had some mama turn around. And then they had this moment. She just like, I'm just worried about you. You know, your little sister found you. I just want to make sure that you're okay. And they kind of hug each other. And then she like passed her test. And I felt so bad because it's like, girl, you lying to your mama like this. But like, I understand at the same time. And I like how she talks about like, if she could be a different person, then she would, you know. To her, this isn't a choice. It's not like I choose to be addicted to drugs, or I choose this drug of choice because this is the only thing that like calms the world down for me. It's the only thing that makes me feel normal or makes me feel happy. And how she says like, not that she would change or be a different person for herself, but for her mom and for her sister, that she loves them so much that if she could do anything to like be a better person for them, that she would. And I find it interesting that she puts their thoughts and their feelings above her own. So we do find out that after she has the panic attack that she had, they took her to the hospital and they gave her Valium. And when she finally felt that feeling of quietness, that everything slowed down and it was just quiet, that's kind of where she had that inkling, where she knew that these drugs can get me that peace of mind, like the peace that I've just been trying to find, like this can give it to me. So we do find out that, you know, her dad did end up dying, and that drugs was the only way for her to basically live at that point. That was how she coped. That was kind of her sanctuary, was doing drugs. So yeah, I thought it was interesting because I was like, what the hell happened to her dad? Like, I don't know what happened, but yeah. So let's get into her friend Jules. So Jules was AKA Sailor Moon. So Jules is new to the town, and basically she lives with her dad. So her dad and her mom got divorced, and he got custody. So you know something crazy had to happen for the dad to get custody. So we don't know what that is yet. I'm interested to know what the story was, and she doesn't really like to talk about it, as what what Rue says. So she's on a dating app, and I found this scene so relatable. Now, if you guys want to say that they did this for shock value, I'm here to tell you, no, boo-boo. This is like what pictures be looking like, dudes with they little peen imprints, and them basically having they peen out in pictures and stuff like that. I was just like, that's real life right there. Like, that's dating apps. All my married friends, I tell them, y'all don't want to come back to this life. It ain't what you want. It's not what you want. Don't do it. It's just, no. So she finds someone on a dating app. She's meeting up with him. And so she ends up, before she's getting dressed and stuff, she like shoots something up. Was that drug? Like, what was that? And she had all those bruises. Can somebody tell me in the comment section what that was? Because I didn't catch on to it. I don't know if I'm just not hip. I'm an old lady. I don't know what. But she goes to meet up with this guy. But when she gets to the motel, I'm like, first of all, this motel looks sketchy as hell. I don't know why you going out here. Then when she texts him like, you're not a murderer, are you? I said, well, beesh, ain't it a little bit too late now? Like, you in this creepy ass motel and you just now asking him, is he crazy? Is he a murderer? Stop it. So she goes in there. He asked her how old she is, and she's like, I'm 22. And then he starts putting his like finger in her mouth and stuff, like as he's asking her these questions. But y'all, when Ish got real, oh my It was McSteamy. It's Eric Dane, who we knew from I knew him from Grey's Anatomy. I was like, oh my God, it's McSteamy. And I was like so excited. And then he started being creepy and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like your character, am I? Nah, I don't think I am. So he's asking her, he's like, you know what I love about your generation is you guys don't play by the rules. You don't have to be like me who have to live their two different lives, be in this hotel and, then go live my other life. And so basically he he puts his finger in her mouth, all that, open wider. And I was just like, this is too much. You're ruining my image of McSteamy right now. And so then he ends up basically taking her by force, just being all rough with her. He put his finger in my mouth, talk about spit. I was just like, this is too much. It was too much for me. So he basically doing all of that. And so Rue is telling the story that Jules told her, when she was younger, she would lock herself in the bathroom and pray all night and pray that she would wake up and she would be 25. And I was like, who prays for that? I prayed to be older, so I didn't have to do homework or, go, get my ass beat when I wasn't doing stuff right. But I want to learn more about Jules' backstory because I think it's a very sad and tragic backstory, but we just haven't heard about it yet. So we see that, I guess I have to stop that for right now. I'm going to stop that for right now, and you guys know why if you watched the episode why I got to stop doing that. So let me go to Nate, little beach ass. I can't stand Nate. So Nate is this football jock, but before that, if you guys watch the after show to the second episode, he's Australian, and he's super cute and so pure and innocent that I can't even look at him the same way because he's such a douche on the show, but I just had to put that little tidbit. So Rue sees Nate when she was going to get her drugs from Ashtray and Fez, and she talks about how he tried to finger her when she was a freshman without her permission. And he's talking to his friend McCrae. Hey, Algie. I was like, it's so nice to see Algie. I hope he's not a prick like his friend. But they are throwing this in a summer party at McCrae's house. And so he sees Jules. He runs Jules off the side of the road. I was like, this dude is a effing trip. I cannot with him. And so then he's calling this girl Casey, who McCrae likes, calling her a whore. And then it was very interesting because they have this discussion. So they're hanging out with the guys and they start calling these girls whores because they have new photos. And so I love how when Rue's narrating how, basically people attack Jennifer Lawrence or attack Leslie Jones with their news, someone broke into the iCloud and got all these people's news. And even recently, I think Whoopi Goldberg kind of had some harsh words for a girl, I forgot her name, who took these news. And I think it's so crazy how we blame women for taking pictures. And let's be honest, y'all taking pictures for your husband, your man. It's not like you're doing it thinking that it's finna get out to the whole entire world. The person who you've given permission to see, your body, you sent them a picture. You didn't send the world a picture, or I shouldn't have to send stuff knowing that someone's going to invade my privacy and break in and send my photos out. And so I think it's very interesting that they include this, and the fact that the boys are calling Cassie a whore because she has new photos that they found, which probably she sent to whatever guy she was dating, and this little beach behind sent the photos out. This is why I just, because I have friends who show me photos of people and I just I don't want to see that. And that's why I just don't do it, because I know it's dudes like that who do that stuff, and it's not cute, it's not fun. But I don't think that we should attack people, and I love how they include that in this, or the fact that these guys are calling her a whore because they have this video, and I don't know if she knows that the dude recorded them having sex, or so they're calling her a whore, but they don't know the circumstances. They don't know if she consented to this, if he violated her privacy. That's her boyfriend. I just find it crazy how guys come up with these theories on what makes a woman a slut, a whore, or them saying, even the conversation later in the episode when we talked about Kat. So Kat hangs out with Maddie, who's Nate's ex, and then their other friend, BB, I think. And so Maddie's trying to, Maddie and Nate broke up. So Maddie's trying to make Nate jealous at this party. And they're talking and stuff, and they're telling Kat how she needs to go have sex. And so which leads Kat to in the room with McCrae's twin brothers and this other guy who don't even know who he is. So they're basically saying that women who watch porn, they were the only women who watch porn are sluts. And I was just like, That just don't make no sense. Everybody watches porn. Like, let's just be honest about this, men and women. Like, I don't know why it's okay for you to watch porn, but if a woman watches porn, it's just not okay. That whole conversation, it made me mad, but I know people really think that way. And so I think it's so interesting how they show these different viewpoints versus how the young boys are reacting, the young women. I said boys, let me stop that. The young men reacted and how the young women are reacting, and even how they kind of basically, like, because she's trying to prove herself or show that she's not proved, she ends up having sex with old dude. She took her top off and stuff, and just because she's trying to live up to this standard that she feels she has to be on the same level as everyone else. So I thought it was very interesting, but I do like how she still commanded it, and it was on her own terms. It's because, like, she, at the end of the day, she wanted to. So yeah, sorry. So in the meantime, we see that McCrae, going back to McCrae talking to Nate and them calling Cassie a whore. McCrae obviously has feelings for Cassie. They've been hanging out for quite some time, and he likes her. Talk about how she's smart, how she's funny, and I love that he still stands up to them, but at the same time, they've corrupted his mind and how he views Cassie now. And so we see this play out when they go to the party and Cassie and him start making out, and then they decide to have sex. And then this fool, he started choking her. I said, excuse me, what? What just happened? But this scene is very important because it talks about how a lot of people have become desensitized to sex. And because a lot of not only adults, but young adults watch porn and how it's so easily accessible, that because these are the images that they're seeing, women getting choked out, and we saw like the different images that they were showing, that they think that that's how sex is, that that's what people do. Like, and when he tells her, she was just like, I said stop, and he was like, I thought that's what you would want. And she's like, bruh, like, why would that be something that I would want? And it's because that's what he's been watching. That's what he sees when he watches porn. So it's almost to the point where sex even just isn't regular sex. Like, sex has to be this theatrical thing that we see, this crazy scenarios that we see play out as porn has become so accessible. And so I like how they show that doing these things, how it kind of has consequences for how we actually interact with people in real life. And so I thought it was really well done how that was played out. And then even her reaction was, hey, like, ask me first, but don't just do that, unless I tell you to do so. And so we see that, they're cool. He apologized. And McCrae seems like a really great guy. It's been in his mind ever since he's had that conversation with his friends. He's just looking at her in a different way, which just makes him react in an entirely different way. But while we're at the party, Maddie's trying to make Nate jealous, okay? So Nate, he trying to dance with some girl. She trying to dance on this dude, Tyler. And so then she was like, hey, let's go swimming. And so they strip, they get in the pool, whatever, they kissing and stuff. And then she was like, I want you to ask me right here, right now. Sorry, this damn Nate. I want you to ask me here right now. And so they basically start having sex in the damn pool. So Nate finds out, somebody goes and tells him, he goes and looks and sees them having sex while everyone's recording what is happening. And so basically Nate gets upset, and then he goes in the kitchen going crazy, taking shots, slamming stuff, breaking stuff. And so he tells everyone get out of the kitchen, and Jules is standing there because she decided to leave old dude, which we see that he had, I ain't even gonna go into that right now because that was just too much. I'm gonna wait to the end. But we see that they have a confrontation, and it looks like he's about to do something to her. So she just grabs the knife and she was like, you wanna hurt me, huh? You wanna hurt me? Then she cut herself. I was like, this girl's crazy. Nate scared, I'm scared, everybody at the party scared. Like, girl, what is wrong with you? And so I know that this was a defense mechanism, because I'm just like, y'all looking at her crazy, but not one person tried to come and help her. Not one person came and tried to stop this man from trying to hurt this woman. And so I thought that was so crazy, but that's what happens in high school, because everyone's too busy watching. It was probably recording the mess as it was happening, instead of somebody stepping in to stop what went down. So Jules runs out, and then I almost said Zendaya ran out. Rue runs out after her, introduces herself, and then she asks her, can she go home with her? And so she helps her clean her wound and stuff like that. Then they end up getting high together. And so we see that the episode then switches to Nate Who's driving home? We see everyone else is in bed. Maddie, Kat, and BB, they're all in bed and stuff. And then we go to Nate, who's driving home, y'all. Oh, Lord. So he's driving home and he's walking up the steps, Lord, and we see the picture. So while McSteamy, Cal, was in the shower after he was smashing Jules, he had a text and she looked at his phone and saw the picture of his family. And then we see that Nate walks past the same picture, and that's Nate's daddy, y'all. Cal is Nate's daddy, and I couldn't take it. I just said, this too much. This way too much. I was just like, you know what? Y'all got me there. But I enjoyed this episode. Like, I thought they did a really great job of like really going there, and everything had purpose. And so I know a lot of people had issues with all the little peens showing, and that's just equality. Like, it's okay when we show women's breasts, but like we can't see no peen, because I mean that's what they do. That's what happens. I don't think it was to be sexual, to over sexualize things. That is what's really happening right now. And I love that they're taking a more realistic approach to what teenage life is these days, because I really think that we kind of have like these blinders on, and people are trying to make it seem like, oh, my kids are just so good and they're not going through these things. Even when we saw Rue getting those text messages like, I want to rape you. I mean, that stuff, that I get death threats, all type of stuff on my YouTube videos. Y'all don't see it because I delete it because I'm protecting my energy. But you get all types of crazy messages, and that's the stuff that people are exposed to these days. And so I like that they don't try to take a limited PG approach to it. They're real and they're honest about what our teenagers are going through these days. And so that's what I appreciate about Euphoria, that it doesn't hold back. And it really helps people understand that there's also hidden reasons why society is the way that it is, and the effects that it has on not only us but our younger generation. And so I like Euphoria. I don't think that is for shock value. I really enjoyed this episode. I can't wait to see more. But those are my thoughts on Euphoria season 1, episode 1, the pilot episode. As always, my name is Sharana from Pair Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.